In today's video, we are jumping straight into a practical demonstration. First, I am going to show you how an attacker can manipulate hidden field inside a web form. And this is a common weakness that many applications still have, and it can lead to unexpected or unauthorized behavior. After the quick demo, I will explain what hidden field manipulation actually is, why it happens, and how attackers take advantage of it. And finally, we will move over to FortiWeb, where I will show you how to detect and block this type of attack using the hidden field protection policy. So in FortiWeb, we have hidden field protection policy. So with the help of this policy, we can mitigate this type of attack, hidden field manipulation attack. So let's start by looking at how the attack works in a real application, right? And for this demonstration, I have a FortiWeb already configured. With interface IPs, virtual IP, virtual server, pool, right? So in pool there is only one server, backend server, web server, right? And web server is vulnerable server, like a lot of vulnerabilities are there. Attacker machine, right? A Windows computer, and from here we will launch an attack, right? Hidden field manipulation attack, and I'm going to show you like how we can do that, and I'll be using either Fiddler or Bob suite for this hidden field manipulation attack. And we are going in reverse direction. I'm starting with the practical demonstration first, and then I will explain what is hidden field manipulation, how we can do mitigation, right, with the help of policy. And before that, let me also quickly explain like how we configure like FortiWeb or FortiWAF, right, so that backend application server or web server become accessible from outside, from external side, right? So if you are familiar with F5 WAF, which is ASM, right, then in ASM what we do, we first create a virtual server, and virtual server means like virtual IP, right? And attach like pool is also attached. Pool means like classical grouping of server, a backend server, right? And whole bunch of profiles. We attach or associate profiles to the virtual server. And one profile which is really very important is HTTP profile, because WAF means what? Application layer firewall, right? So application layer firewall means firewall should inspect upper layer data, right? Not only the IP and TCP header, even upper layer data means HTTP header. So in a 5 ASM, what we do, like we create HTTP profile, layer 7 profile. Layer 7 profile is attached to virtual server, and then we just go ahead and create ASM or WAF policy, and then policy is attached to the virtual server. But here in FortiWeb, configuration is a bit different. So let me quickly explain you how you can configure your FortiWeb, right? So first step here is creating a virtual IP address. So you can log into your FortiWeb, create a virtual IP address. Virtual IP is just the name and IP address. IP address means external interface IP address, routable from outside, right? Interface name. Once like you have done that, then the next step would be creating a virtual server. So create a virtual server here, right? Second step, and when we create a virtual server, then we attach virtual IP or WIP. Health check is not mandatory. So if there is only one server, then you can skip this, because health check means like there should be multiple servers in a pool, right? So load balancing and health check means multiple servers, more than one server in a pool. So if there is only one server, then of course there is no point of configuring load balancing, health check, so you can ignore for now. And then server pool. So again here, like if there is only one server, so what we do, we select this single server, no server balancing, right? No load balancing algorithm here. and the IP and the port number, right? HTTP, then yes, port 80, and then finally FortiWeb server policy, this last step. So in server policy, we like put everything together, and here we have web protection profile, right? So if I just show you the basic configuration of FortiWeb, because we don't want to get into like initial configuration of FortiWeb. I mean, like I assume like like how to assign IPs, how to configure routing in FortiWeb, and then if you look at this virtual server, then already virtual server is created here. There is one pool, and pool means like only one IP address, of course, and under networking section you will find virtual IP. So virtual IP means external side IP. External means like interface that connects to outside world or internet, right? So virtual IP should be routable. Okay, so here like there is a virtual IP, virtual server is created, and if you look at the server policy, here there is one policy. So we put everything together here in server policy, and here like you can see virtual server, server pool, HTTP service. What else? Web protection profile. I have created one protection profile and like attached to this. That's it. So in order to access backend server, and backend server is backend server means web server, PHP auction server, this one. IP address is 10.128.1.150. So from here, attacker PC backend server or web server would become accessible with virtual IP address, right? Virtual IP is what? From the same network segments, from the same network range 192.168.1.100, right? In production network, virtual IP or external interface IP can be from the public address space, right? So even routing wise, if you have taken like public IPs from your local internet service provider, so local internet service provider will take care of that, will create a static route point towards your appliance, towards your network device, and the same network or address space is advertised in using BGP protocol. But you don't have to worry with that. That's not your part. In fact, in case if there is a firewall, right, like first like a next generation firewall, and then behind that FortiWeb, and next generation firewall is configured with destination NAT policy or destination NAT, then again there is no problem, right? So objective is like just to ensure that client request hits like your FortiWeb, right? So you may have to take care of routing, destination NAT if there is any network device in front of FortiWeb. But we want to focus on this hidden field manipulation and web protection profile in FortiWeb. So we don't want to get into routing part of it, right? We will understand that later. So web server is accessible with the virtual IP. So in my scenario, IP address is 192.168.1.100, right? And for like this lab demonstration, I'm using a Fiddler tool, right? There is another tool, Burp Suite, right? Community edition is also available, and even there is another edition, Professional, that is a paid version. But for the lab testing purpose, yes, we can use community edition of Burp Suite, or maybe this Fiddler, absolutely free. So let me quickly take one item from here, and you can see here Canon digital camera, buy it for 40 USD, right? So 40 USD is the price. What I'm going to do, I'm going to enable automatic breakpoints before request, right? So what happens now? Now any request initiated or generated from the browser will not directly hit web server or FortiWeb, rather I would say, right? What will happen? Request will be first forwarded to Fiddler. Fiddler is basically a proxy man in the middle attack, or proxy. Proxy means in the middle of communication stream, right? So now request generated from browser will first be directed or forwarded to fiddler, right? Will stay here for a short time. We can do manipulation here. We can change the parameter, values, request time, right? And once we have done, then we can submit request to FortiWeb or any other destination, or maybe directly to the server. So fiddler or burp suite means acting as a proxy, man in the middle, right? So requests from browser will not directly head to FortiWeb, will head to this fiddler tool, and here we can do manipulation, and once we have done manipulation, then we can submit that request to FortiWeb. That's the idea, right? So now I have intercepted, intercept is on now, and you can see here if intercept is on here, so still page, like if I click here by it, let's say, so still it's loading up, right? Why? Because request is not forwarded to FortiWeb or backend server. Where is request? Request is here. You can see here, right? Proxy. And if I double click, then you can see here, this is the hidden field, price and then value, right? Price and value. And generally developers should never store sensitive values in hidden fields. And what do you mean by sensitive values? Sensitive values means like price, user role, product cost, access label. So developers should never store sensitive values in hidden fields, right? But let us assume developer has not adopted secure coding, right? And this price and value means like this one, price is stored here and easily can be changed, can be manipulated, and once done, then we can click here, run to completion. So this is really very bad design. And why do I say bad design? Because this is something like input value or input type, input type is equal to hidden, name is equal to price, and value is equal to 40 USD, right? Something this means like price or this price value is stored here. This is really bad design. What is good design? Good design is not storing value here. Something like input type is equal to hidden, name is equal to like this. Good design is name is equal to maybe product ID, not actual value, and then value is equal to some number like this, right? So this is really a good design. But anyway, backend server in this lab is already like is not very secure, like very poor coding, no secure coding, a lot of vulnerabilities, and intensely we are using that now. So I'm going to manipulate this value maybe from 40 USD to 1 USD, right? So what I did, I changed price value, hidden field manipulation, right? This one, change, and then I'm going to click here, run to completion, and if I go back to this browser, and you can see here price is 1 USD. So now I can log in with the username and I can buy this product in just 1 USD, right? And even I can disable now this. Okay, so I hope you understand like what exactly hidden field manipulation attack is, right? What is hidden field manipulation, how we can mitigate this type of attack, how we can create policy in FortiWeb. I'm going to show you that also. Hang in there. I will explain also like how protection happens, how does FortiWeb protect this type of attack. But I hope you understand how this manipulation happens, right? and see here what I did. I just logged in with the user name and password, and I've successfully purchased item in just $1, right? Alright, so coming back to this hidden field manipulation now. So in many applications, hidden HTML form fields are used to hold system passwords or pricing, and it's a dynamic field which keeps on changing, that is placed in the HTML form using a keyword hidden. For instance, in the form where you input a credit card number to purchase a book, there might be a hidden fields that contain a book inventory index and a price, right? So basically, in FortiWeb, we can create a policy. This policy, let me quickly show you. So if we go to web protection, input validation, hidden field. So here like we have hidden fields policy, right, and hidden fields rule. So if I create hidden field rule and then rule, basically in FortiWeb, let me quickly explain this. Whenever we create any policy, right, so first we start from the right hand side, means first we create the rule and fill out all the information, required information, and then the rule is attached or associated to this policy. So in FortiWeb, we always start from the right hand side, create this, attach to this policy, and then this policy, once like we are ready with the policy, then policy is attached in web protection profile, right? Web protection profile. Where is web protection profile? Where you will find that. So that's the, like if we go to this policy web protection profile, and I have created one profile here, very simple profile, right? Nothing much configuration. You will find here web protection profile is just a standard, and see here in this web protection profile we can attach CRPA protection, HTTP header security, man in browser protection. We'll see all this in action later on, right? URL encryption, yes, I will show you. Like this URL is encrypted, will be encrypted. Link locking policy, really very useful. Parameter validation, and we are interested in this hidden field protection. So once we are ready with the hidden fields protection profile or policy, rather I would say, because in FortiWeb we call it policy, then the same policy will be attached here, hidden fields protection. So once like it's done, then very much like this type of attack will be prevented. Let me show you, and then I will explain like how FortiWeb protect like from this hidden field manipulation attack. So first thing first, and even if you want to just create hidden field protection policy from here, yes, you can do that, but best practice is always go to this web protection, input validation, hidden fields, right? See here. So web protection, then input validation, and here we have hidden fields. So hidden field and hidden field rule, right? So create hidden field rule. So I will name it hidden field rule or something, right? And then request URL. So you should be knowing what is the request URL. Like whenever like let's say if we go here Canon or Samsung or something, so you can see here item.php / item.php, right, is the URL. You can also find it from here also, right, item.php. So you can find from your Fiddler above suite, or maybe from here. So / item.php. So type that item.php, right? In F5 ASM or advanced WAF, even there is parameter learning, dynamic values, like a different way. I mean, like, let's not get into like F5 WAF, but in F5 WAF, way like how we do like this protection and all that is a bit different. So here like request URL item.php, and once we hit down OK, then this option will be highlighted. And this is, you will find everywhere, like whether you are creating hidden fields, parameter validation, file security, web shell detection, file exception, right? The same way. I mean, like first we just give a name, and then this will be highlighted, then create a post URL table, and then this rule is used here under this policy. And then finally policy is attached to web protection profile, and you will find web protection profile under this policy section. Okay, so hit down OK. We are good to go now. Post URL table, create post URL table. We'll asking keep what is post URL. So for example, if you select any item like buy or something, then buy.php, right? So /buy.php is your post URL. And then finally hidden field. So hidden field is price value, right? We change that. So just type in here price. Okay, and hit down OK. So we are now ready with hidden fields rule. What is next step? Next step is creating policy. So hidden fields policy, create new, I will name it. Okay, and so your policy is created, but we need to attach hidden field rules here. Successfully done. And the final step, the last step is what? Attaching hidden field policy to web protection profile. So where do we find web protection profile? Under policy, web protection profile, and you will find like some built-in web protection profile. 10 here you can see. 11 like web protection profile is custom. I have created this, but with very minimum configuration. As such, like not too many policy or protection profile. You can see here all empty, right? We'll be using one by one. So in upcoming classes we'll see like what exactly man in browser protection is, what is HTTP header security, or CSRF protection. URL encryption is again very important, link locking, SQL or cross-site this parameter validation. Yes, we'll see this. Almost we are going to use most of like profile or protection, right? You see here. But for now we are interested in hidden field policy, only one policy, right? Even you can also control access like URL access, allow method, bot mitigation, DAS mitigation even, right? URL rewrite, yes, it's all part of your IP lanes, geo IP. But for now all empty, so we can leave all fields blank. We are only interested in hidden fields protection for now. Okay, so we are ready with our profile. What next now? We are going to verify whether this policy is working or not. So again, select any item from here. You can see here buy it, and open fiddler rules automatic breakpoint before request, right? Click here. Now interception is on. So browser requests will not be directly submitted to FortiWeb or then after backend server. No, rather browser requests will be forwarded to fiddler proxy, in fact, right? We can do manipulation here, and once manipulation is done, then we will run to completion or will submit to the destination. And here destination is FortiWeb. You understand that? Because destination for me, like for attacker, destination is not the web server, because attacker has no idea about the web server IP address, right? Web server has virtual IP address, virtual IP address. There is virtual server. Means this FortiWeb, which is basically reverse proxy, is doing simulation, emulation, telling everyone that I am the web server, and that's why we create a virtual server here. So FortiWeb is advertising that I am the web server, I am running HTTP service or HTTP daemon, right? Talk to me, and here is my IP address. It's all fictitious, it's all bogus, right? Because web server IP address is not the real IP address of the web server. So what FortiWeb does here, destination NAT, network address translation, virtual IP address is translated to backend web server IP address. So do we have to enable NAT here? No, it's by default enable. So client request hit like FortiWeb, three-way handshake, first, second, third. Once TCP connection is successfully established, then on top of that, HTTP request, right? HTTP request heads like FortiWeb, because FortiWeb is reverse proxy architecture, and that is really very secure. Now FortiWeb will do a lot of inspection, will check with the profile, policies, configuration, geo policy, access method, HTTP method, what HTTP method should be allowed, what HTTP method should not allowed. And let us assume if all good, like right, nothing suspicious here, no violation here, then what happens? FortiWeb then initiate a TCP handshake to the backend web server, again 3 messages exchange, then on top of that HTTP request, HTTP response, then HTTP response, right? So it's different from the packet based design. It's a full proxy architecture, 2 independent layer 4 connections, 1 layer 4 connection between attacker or the legitimate user, because not necessarily every time attacker is going to access the web server, even user can be legitimate also or illegitimate traffic. And another layer 4 connection between backend server and the FortiWeb, right? And NAT is enabled by default, so address is translated by default. We don't have to do any NAT translation, right? Even though like we do have option to enable or configure NAT, but at least in like there are some corner use cases wherein we do that. Otherwise no, NAT is not required here. Okay, so now we are ready with verification now. So I have enabled that, and where is item, and then buy now, click here, buy it, right? Now it's loading up because request is here, and I'm going to change this again to 1 or 2 USD, right? And then click here, run to completion, then see what happens now. So still no error message, and you can see here price successfully changed, right? No error message. And why it is so? Because if I show you policy hidden field policy that we have created here with this rule, hidden field rule, right? So what is action here? Alert means what? Only log message, no prevention, no deny, right? So I hope you understand, like we created hidden field rules with this action only, and that is why even after this policy, yes, successfully hidden field manipulation done. But if we look at the log access, so here we see like buy.php and digital camera alert only, right? Malicious, and here it is mapped with the OWASP top 10. Security means configuration, improper asset management. So you see here. So in order to deny, in order to block, go back to your input validation, hidden field rules, and change the action from alert to alert and deny, right? Make sense? Alert and deny. Okay. And now we can do testing one more time. So let's go back to home page, and maybe the same item, Canon digital camera, fiddler tool, rules, automatic brick, before request, and then click here, buy it, enable, request is here, 40 USD, changes to 1 or 2, whatever you want, and then run to completion. And see here also you can see web page blocked, right? And look at the error message, response message can be changed, but you understand page cannot be displayed. So this way we can prevent hidden field manipulation attack, right? So if you set in the hidden field rule, if you set action as alert, then only log message will be there, no prevention, very similar to IDS, intrusion detection system, no prevention at all. And if you set action as alert and deny, means log message and also attack will be denied. So this way we can prevent hidden field manipulation attack, right? So I hope you understand like what we have done to prevent like hidden field manipulation attack. So first we created hidden field rule, then hidden field policy. Policy is attached to web protection profile, and web protection profile is already attached to the server policy. This way. Now let's understand what happens behind the scene. If we create hidden field manipulation policy or profile, so how does FortiWeb provide protection, right? So what happens here, FortiWeb intercept server response, hence FortiWeb scans the HTML and extract hidden fields only, right? So first step is this FortiWeb intercept server response, scan the HTML, extract hidden fields, like here like we have just seen 40 USD is the value, price value, name value pair, which is your parameter in fact. And then this is the very first step. So first step is like intercept server response, and then step number 2, FortiWeb now creates a hash or checksum, because FortiWeb doesn't store the entire value in a long-term DB. Instead, it creates a encrypted checksum or a hash that represent hidden field values, right? So this hash value, encrypted hash or checksum, is stored temporarily here in its buffer, in its memory, right? Temporary in fact, and we cannot see that of course. And then response is forwarded to the client in fact, right? So now FortiWeb sends response to client, and hidden fields go to the client as usual. Nothing changed here because FortiWeb extracted hidden field value, done mathematical computation, calculated checksum or hash, stored temporarily here in the database. Now what happens? Attacker now modifies hidden field value, price value here, and then send request, right? So this request comes back. Now FortiWeb compares client sent value versus original stored checksum, right? And if there is any mismatch, and here in policy, if action is alert and deny, then request is denied here. If action is just alert, then request is not denied, only log is generated, alert message is generated, right? But no prevention at all. So that depends with the action we have set. But that's the way how protection happens here. Means FortiWeb does behind the scene mathematical computation, calculates checksum, store in a temporary database here in the memory in fact, and value that is presented by attacker machine is compared with the stored value, and if there is any mismatch, then request is not allowed, denied if action is allowed and denied, right? Makes sense? So I hope you understand, even if developer or programmer or my web application has Now this vulnerability, hidden field in fact, means like value is stored in hidden field, and in front of web application, web app, if there is WAF like FortiWeb or maybe F5 WAF or any other WAF, so with the help of proper policy, we can prevent this type of attack, right? So that's all about hidden field manipulation.